Hey guys, Jaws the Shark Reviews here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Authentics Bravo Optimus Primal. So, here he is in his gorilla mode, and yeah, I believe this is the second Authentics figure I've reviewed on this channel. The first was years ago. I reviewed, it was Optimus Prime, but it was like a bigger one, kind of. There's these Bravo ones, these $5 figures, which are about 4.5 inches, I want to say. And then there's another one, which is probably about 8 or 9 inches, and 9 inches tall. And there's those, and then there's even bigger ones I'm aware of. But mainly I've collected these smaller ones. Although a couple of years ago, I actually sold most of these. I think I had like Prime, B, Megatron, Starscream, and Ratchet, and Grimlock. But I think I sold them all off about a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago. Yesterday I went to Five Below and happened to see by the register they had a couple of these Bravo figures. They had Prime, B, Barricade, and Primal. And a couple of months ago I saw a review on this Primal. I'm like, wow, this is actually not that bad for these Authentics Bravo figures. So I'm like, yeah, well, I'm curious of picking this guy up. And I didn't see him for months until yesterday, of course. And saw him for $5. I'm like, why not pick him up? And I opened him up, and he's well, I'm not gonna give that away right now. Yeah, you thought I was gonna give away right now, but nope. You have to wait till the very end to hear my final opinion. But anyways, now before we take a look at Primal, let's take a look at his packaging. So yeah, here it is. This is the new packaging they have for the Authentics figures. I think it's pretty nice. It's like the one case where I'd say I prefer the no plastic packaging. Not because it doesn't have plastic, but because it's it's an actual box. It's not like with the East Everett they have like a cardboard card in the back and then like a plastic bubble in front of it. I think this is a lot more sturdier, I'd say, but I just prefer it like this, but it would be nice if there was still a window. But anyways, so yeah, and they reissued Prime, B, and Barricade in this packaging. I think this is this Primal one's like original to this packaging style, because this is the newest of these Authentic Bravos figures. But anyways, let's take a close-up look here at the packaging. So here's Primal in his odd-looking gorilla mode. I remember, like, before Primal's design was real in Rise of the Beast, people were thinking this is what he was gonna look like. I'm like, no way. Because, this is like an evergreen design thing. Like, that's what they do with these Authentics Bravo figures. Well, Primal technically doesn't have one because he's not a G1 character, so this one's strictly based off his Beast Wars cartoon appearance, but they gave him this weird artwork. I mean, it's good artwork. It's kind of odd for Primal. It looks a little too gorilla-esque. I don't know. It's like if I see Beast Wars Megatron with a T-Rex mode that looks too much like a T-Rex and stuff. Him having that kind of personality that you'd hear David Kay's voice come out of. But anyways, let me stop blabbering on. And here's the Maximal logo, which is correct, but they actually used the movie logo, the one they used in Rise of the Beast. So that's kind of funny, but not the first time Hasbro's done that, where they used movie logos for generic versions of characters. On top here, you got Transformers More Than Meets the Eye, the iconic slogan. On top here, you get a little render of Primal in his gorilla mode, and this is an authentic figure, as previously stated. Transformers, you get a further look of Primal there, and another look of him there. Plastic-free packaging, except tape and glue. Where they use glue? I don't know where they use glue. I know where they use the tape. Where's the glue? But anyways, so yeah, there's this on the back here. So you get you get that same render of Primal in his girl mode, but now you also see him in his robot mode. 9 steps. He is a noble maximal leader. All this right here, and then this there, and that there, and that's pretty much it for the packaging. So let's bring Primal back into the picture. So so anyways, let's get a up close look at Primal right here. And yeah, he looks alright. The face looks a little weird, like he's got like tusks, or not tusks, like kind of like jaw fangs, I want to say. It's kind of weird. And yeah, he doesn't look like Primal in the head. I guess not entirely. I mean, he looks like a gorilla, but he doesn't look like Primal. Like, I don't know. It's kind of odd, but I'm not going to get too critical of this because it's a $5 toy you can find either at, well, Five Below or the dollar store or whatever. But, you got his chest panel right there. It's just a flat piece, but, I mean, they molded it in and stuff, but it's merely flat. On the back here, unfortunately, there's nothing covering this up, so you can tell that these are robot's legs, just kind of folded up, sort of. But, yeah. Overall, yeah, I do like the fur textures that they put in. That was pretty nice. And, of course, got his gorilla feet right there. And, yeah. Yeah, it's not too hidden of his gorilla mode, like, or of his robot mode, because you can still see, especially with the legs. I mean, I guess in the front it looks kind of like a gorilla, except for the weird fangs or whatever. But in the back, you can tell it's just a robot pretending to be a gorilla. And but it's for how much it costs and the size of it. I'm not going to get too critical of it. It's not like it's a masterpiece or anything, or it's just a fun little figure just to mess around with. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. For articulation, his head does nod up and down, and does not move side to side. I mean, I guess you can wiggle a little bit, but you can't position it in any other way. Shoulders, I mean, the rest of this is basically robot mode articulation, but I guess I can just show off what you can do here in the alt mode. You can move that all around, but I guess I'll get into the rest of the articulation in robot mode, because, the only real beast mode articulation is just the head. The rest of it's just borrowed from the robot mode. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. So anyways, let's get right down to the alt mode size comparison. So starting off, here he is with Core Class Optimus Prime, and the reason I bring him here is because this Primal could be a good fill-in for Core Class Optimus Primal. As of this recording, Hasbro's not made one, and I do not believe that there are any listings for a Core Class Primal in Legacy United next year. So it's going to be a long time before we get Core Class versions of the Maximals. So I guess in the meantime, this is kind of decent. I mean, although in the Beast Wars cartoon they were pretty small, you'd probably be they're human size, so you'd probably be like to right here or something, or like there, because you'd have to fit inside the truck, and yeah. But there's that. Hey, and last but not least, here is with the Kingdom Optimus Primal. You can see, yeah, this one's a lot better looking. I mean, aesthetically, like, this is all covered up here, while here it's not. It looks a lot more natural, I'd say. But, this one ain't too bad. It's just, you can see where, the higher budget comes into play. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for the alt mode. So let's get right down to the transformation for this little guy right here. So, starting off, you're just going to want to straighten out the legs. It's pretty simple, as you'd expect from one of these figures. Then next, you just move this back piece down, then move this down, like right here, just untab this. And now you will see his robot mode head and his gorilla head. So this is pretty similar to the Kingdom Optimus Primal. And yeah, you just want to kind of push this up, or pull this up, and then rotate this around to where the gorilla head is facing this way, and then just push that down. And before you bring this back up, you just want to flip the chest piece, so now it's got this blue thing right here. Unfortunately, it's now, besides the blue, it's not painted, which is a real shame, because, there's a lot more color in there in the Beast Wars cartoon. And then next, you just want to close that back up, then move up the shoulder pads, and then next, just swivel around the forearms, and then last but not least, rotate around the waist. And now there you guys have Primal in his robot mode. And I gotta say, he doesn't look too bad. He's missing a lot of paint. That's where his issue is. But honestly, I don't think he's that bad. So yeah. Yeah, anyways, let's get up close look here. That Primal, that's actually, this head sculpt right here is actually perfect, basically. I rotate it around. There's no screw or anything, or no hole for a screw. It's just mold-wise, it's perfect. I mean, it could use more paint, but this is probably one of the best Optimus Primal head sculpts I've ever seen. Probably almost second to the masterpiece. I don't know why it's this good. It's pretty good, honestly. And yeah. And it's got lots of detailing, and I do love that. It's a shame that it's not painted, and especially the chest. It's kind of a blue blob right there. Um, I do like the silver they use though. That's nice. And I love that they did actually mold in his forearm cannons that he had on the show. I think that's pretty cool. And on the back, hollow here at the lower legs. Typical Optimus Primal proportions. So, but yeah, overall pretty nice. So, and I hear a siren right now. um, hope whoever's in danger is okay. But anyways, so yeah, now for accessories, he does come with two pistols right here. They're all blue, all solid blue plastic. Here they are, and yeah. Now he cannot hold them in his hands, or actually, wait, can he? I don't think I've tried yet. Yeah, actually, he can. Sorta, yeah. They're a little crooked, but he can. But that is not actually where they're supposed to store. So there's actually two different areas you can store it. They're not too far apart. So the first one is the back. So you could, there's two holes right here in the back. You can see there. You could just attach them right in there like this. And you can also leave them on for alt mode. I decided to wait now to do this right now. But yeah, you can leave them in alt mode like that. I will say that kind of fills in the gaps on the sides a bit better. But another way you can store it is if you put it up here. So there's two holes for up here as well. And if you guys remember in the Beast Wars cartoon, he did have cans that went out to his shoulders. So I think that's nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool, I'd say. Props to the Hasbro designers that made this. Like they did not need to put that in there, especially considering the price point and where this is being sold. But it's still cool, I'd say. Pretty cool, and he can still hold in his hand, so that's pretty nice. So I'll just put him back there for the rest of the video, I guess. I don't think we've went over articulation yet, so let me do that before I forget. So starting off, he does have a ball joint at the head, so he can move side to side. His head can move up this far. He can move up a little bit more if you want, but you just got to prop open the chest, and so yeah, that's not really articulation there. And the head can move down that far. Shoulders can move outwards as far, and can rotate a full 180. In-out movement right here too. Actually, I think I already showed off. He does have a ball joint at the elbow. You can, unfortunately, is a bit limited for the elbow joint, so that's a bit of a bummer. But you can still wiggle around there. I think that's cool. It's much better than just the stack elbows that they've been giving these figures. Well, I think not RC. I think RC did, but Starscream I remember had a ball joint. And I think that was pretty nice. But Megatron did too. But I remember Bumblebee and Optimus, they didn't. It was kind of a little odd, but at least you can bend the elbows a bit. But just not enough. They could have made this a normal ball joint. I don't see why they decided to make it like this, but whatever. He does have a waist swivel right here. Legs can kick up this far, back that far, and then out that far. You can wiggle this around too if you want. He does have ball joints at the knees, so you can bend them this much, and also can move them side to side. And he does have ball joints at the ankles, so you can, you got ankle pivot there. You can also wiggle the feet back and forth. So surprisingly, he's actually got pretty nice articulation, besides the elbows. I wish that they did those a bit better, but for an authentic Bravo figure, he's actually got some pretty nice articulation, because I remember these figures didn't have much articulation, especially, Bumblebee didn't, Prime didn't, Starscream kind of did, and Megatron did, I think, a bit too, but this guy's got an impressive amount of articulation. So, again, props to the designers for that. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get into the robot mode size comparisons. Let's straighten them out a bit here. So, yeah, now for the robot mode size comparisons. Here he is with core class Optimus Prime, and as you can see here, yeah, the scaling's not good. Yeah, I was hoping at least he'd somewhat scale with core class figures, but it does not seem that's the case. Um, I mean, I'm not really going to flip out because that's not what the purpose of this figure's supposed to do. The purpose of it is that, you know, it's just a cheap transformer that you could get for your kids or whatever. I don't know. So yeah. And last but not least, here is with the Kingdom Optimus Primal. Yeah, and as you can already tell, this one's the much superior one. Because, you know, he does have the proper elbows and he's got more paint and stuff. But honestly, for $5, I mean, this is just kind of a cheaper version of this guy. I mean, especially with the transformation engineering, you know, with the head and stuff. It's literally this guy just now for $5 for like $25 cheaper. So I think that's pretty nice. You know, if you're kind of like on the budget or something and you want to get your kid an Optimus Primal but can't afford this one, this is not a bad alternative. But you know, but this one's still leaps and bounds superior, especially, you know, really in both modes, but especially the alt mode. But that's not to say this one's bad. I'm just saying this one's still superior because, you know, it's you know, has a higher budget, more articulation, better paint, and is more accurate, really. But again, this ain't a bad, cheaper alternative. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the robot mode size comparisons. And there you guys have my review for the Transformers Authenix Bravo Optimus Primal. And I gotta say, this, you know, despite him having plenty of flaws, you know, kind of having a bit of lacking in elbow rotation, and or not rotation, elbow bend, I should say, and lacking paint, obviously, having a kind of weird looking gorilla mode. Despite all those things, this is a surprisingly pretty nice figure, despite the price. You know, the $5 price is, it's kind of what I've wanted from the other Authenix Bravo figures. You know, having decent quality plastic. This guy does have decent quality plastic, except for, I guess, the guns. They feel a little flimsy, but he does feel solid because a lot of those ones have that cheap feel to them. But this Primal here does not have that. He's got a pretty nice plastic quality. And he does, despite the elbow thing, he does still have a lot more posability than the rest of them. And he doesn't have all this kibble or as much hollowness. He's a pretty solid figure. He just lacks paint. Again, kind of lacks elbow bend and has a funky looking gorilla mode. But aside from those things, this is actually a pretty nice old cheap Primal figure. So am I glad it exists? Sure. That way you can kind of get your kid in Transformers in a cheaper way before they want the Kingdom one. But yeah, overall pretty okay figure. Just, you know, he's got his flaws, but honestly, for the budget of this figure and the price, he's not that bad. He ain't that bad. Does that mean I'm gonna start getting the rest of the Authenix Bravo figures? No, unless they redo them. But aside from that, no. But this guy's a nice exception, though. So, yeah, highly recommend you guys get this guy if you want. But yeah. So, anyways, guys, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, share for more, and comment down below what you guys think of this figure. So, anyways, guys, as always, till all are one.